just tuning in, I think that's something that you guys may want to look at is if you're having trouble in any space. It doesn't even have to be the brick and mortar space, but in general, like if you're finding yourself stuck, think about not reinventing the wheel. One of my mentors said it best: don't never take your ass and try to reinvent the wheel, build none of that. Just take the one that you have and make it
Right.
better.
Right.
That's exactly what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
That's too dope. I got to give you my kudos, my snaps, and
Thank
everything
you.
in
Thank you.
between. Because brick and mortar is so hard. It is difficult. We out
Oh,
here,
Lord
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
But it was definitely worth it. It was definitely worth it for me. Giving them that one-on-one intimate experience for me, they couldn't get that through a phone call or through shopping on a website. So,
Mm-hmm.
that intimate experience that I provide to everybody, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Beautiful. What about that experience do you feel separated you from your competitors? Like, did you serve a little glass of champagne when they were coming in? Did you host bachelorette parties? Like, what about that experience, though, besides the aesthetic and the look of the garments, really spoke to you during the time that you were running this specific business?
So we did have after dark events where we kind of talked about the empowerment of lingerie and how it makes you feel and things like that. But more or less on a day to day basis, I treated everybody the same as if they were first time lingerie wearer. You know, a lot of people don't know their size. They don't know, certain things, when it comes to lingerie and the differences between the pieces. So I treated everybody coming through the door as a first timer. It can be really intimidating. It could be, a vulnerable experience. You're talking to somebody about panties that you're about to put on in front of your whatever, so you don't know how the person's going to react, respond, or even embrace what you're asking. So
Right.
coming in, warm and just, you know, understanding at first was the biggest thing, but really just honing in and asking the right questions to kind of get a feel of how they are. And I find that a lot of people are interested and it piques their interest, but the lack of confidence in them, they stay complacent. I've had a lot of people come in and say, I want to come out of my comfort zone. But then when you're picking certain pieces and we're back there in the dressing room, they have comfortable pieces. And so for me, they've already allowed me in their space. So I say, nope, we're not going to do this. That's a comfortable piece. You wanted something a little bit more edgier. You wanted something a little bit more out of your comfort zone. So this is what we're going to do. And, you always have to ask permission,
Yeah.
to come into somebody's space like that. And so for me, I was given the permission right off the bat because of how I approached them.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a super, salesy person. It wasn't about sales. It was more about you. So they had that intimate one-on-one experience with me. A lot of people, they go in the dressing room, they don't see what they like, but they didn't fit well in it. So they didn't know how to fit. So
Right.
I would ask the right questions, go back in the dressing room, and here it is, you do fit. You look you look right in it. Now that
Right.
we've tweaked it and we've moved this around and you kind of sit in it, how you sit in it, you're like, wait a minute, I like that, And so I get that a lot, but it definitely does the trick.
I love that. Listen, this is a theme with you approaching very intimidating concepts and breaking them down for people. Let me find out.
Listen, now that you say that,
Yeah.
oh Lord, yeah, yeah.
You just are like you trying to be the battery in everybody's back. Like it don't even matter. You are pushing everybody to the forefront no matter what industry you're in. That's what I've heard thus far. I love that.
Well, come on, Reed.
Like you are really doing this shit right here. I like that. No, bigger, better. Like there's I love that. So would you ever pivot into like confidence coaching type of thing? Because I know you do something a little similar in that realm. Is
So
yeah.
I started a nonprofit based on my lingerie store concept of empowering women, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what I do with the credit and with the lingerie, which is financial self care. Um, you know, and eventually want to take it, to retreats and things like that, and pair with a couple people that I know that are in the industry. One of my girls, she has a PS You Are Not Alone support group for women, for single mothers and women. So just pairing with some amazing, amazing ladies that already do certain things within the same, genre that I'm looking to do it in.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to take it that far because I feel like it needs to go deeper.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that have that situation, to this day. I get a lot of people that, if I lose these 30 pounds, I'm gonna make sure I get in a piece. Or if I get this, guy or this, woman, that I'm gonna get in this piece, and for me, it's more of, I kind of nip that in the bud and say, well, this is more for you first, because if you're not comfortable in it and you're not feeling it, it's going to show on your face.
Yeah.
So God forbid you walk in with a sexy piece of lingerie, that partner of yours is going to look at your face and say, what's wrong? Why do you look like that? Why are you walking in slumped down?
Nervous?
Yes, you look crazy. And it takes away the essence of what it is that you're trying to do. So I tell them it's for you first. You got to feel comfortable. You have to feel confident in it first before you make the effort to do it for somebody else. And then, we get the people that talk about, oh, well, if I lose the weight first. And I'm like, listen, you've been married for how long?
Yeah.
You've been with this person for how long? I say, you've been talking about losing this weight for how long?
Yeah.
We gonna work on it. But for right now, we have to love the skin that we're in right now. And so that was the biggest thing that I pushed all the time.
Yeah. And that's a sign of a good coach. Anybody who is telling you to find solace and comfort in what's happening, like in the now, that's really important, because a lot of people will go and sell the transformation solely,
right.
like
the future self.
Right, like after this is what that's gonna be. But I think you do a good job of putting yourself in your client's shoes, no matter what you're doing.
Right.
And that translates really well to the people.
Good.
It does. Listen, I'm hearing you. Like, listen, no more confidence. I'm with all of it. So with confidence comes failure, and I gotta talk a little bit about that and I'm all about the tea. Well, coffee, champagne. Tell me about the process of failing forward, because it wasn't like a one and done. Because you have more that's following you after this chapter. So walk the girls through what it looked like to reach the point where you're like, okay, I have to let this go because something else is calling that's a lot bigger.
So, everything for me has a story. So a lot of people think that, oh, you hold on to materialistic things. It's not really materialistic things. Everything for me that has a story, I do with purpose. And so there was a reasoning behind it. So if it falls, I feel some kind of way. But I have an amazing, amazing circle that kick my butt, as they should.
Mm-hmm.
They let me kind of bitch and cry for maybe a couple of days, but then they bring me back around and say, okay, well, now we're gonna wipe the tears, wipe the snot, and get to work. So for me, I've dealt with a lot of the falling forward. I had 4 businesses during the pandemic. And went to that. And this is coming from somebody who was going through a separation and had no income, because he was the financial backing. I was the brains. He was the financial backing. So, I had literally one credit card. I went from a 700 credit score to a 580 during the separation, and had no place to live. So, that for me was, I don't want to go back to what I went through before. And so I spent the year and I grinded out, and it went back from the 580, shot it back up, learned about business credit, got my business credit leveraged, and then leveraged for businesses. But of course, with the changing in the economy and things happening within that, my space, I had to learn how to pivot. That was the biggest thing for me, is you have to know how to pivot. It's just like when you're driving defensively. Most times you can avoid an accident if you just paying attention to your blinders, and you can maybe swerve a little bit, veer over, and then you're safe.
Right.
Sometimes you have to brace the impact and take that head-on collision. But if you see it coming towards you and you brace yourself, you can, the hit and the impact won't be as hard as you thought it was. And so that for me was the biggest thing, was to learn how to adapt to my surroundings and to pivot. And, that was one of the things that I had to teach myself with, because I felt like I failed my mission with people and why I started, this certain thing.
Right.
So it wasn't really me failing myself or not getting the income. It was more of, I failed you because this was my mission to come out here and do this for you. That next person kind of thing that can encounter that experience. So just learning how to pivot, but still keep the mission, close. That for me was the pivotal point for me.
Yeah, and that's a big deal because, I mean, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, even just going from having four businesses and then you end up having issues, like that's tough. And I do want to ask you, how did you manage the outside opinions? Because I think that's something that a lot of people face, like especially when they're doing a certain kind of work. And let's just say, you leave and you do have to pivot. Like so many people will carry that shame and carry that guilt. Like I had to close this down. For me, my thought process is at least you tried. 90% of the people that you grew up with, that you've been around, they haven't even tried or attempted to do what you did. Pat yourself on the back for that, regardless. And that's why I say failing forward. But give me your perspective on having the courage to do so, minus that outside noise. Like, let's talk about that because that's some real shit that we all go through.
So, I mean, I'm kind of used to it. Everybody has an opinion on what you're going to do, what you're supposed to do, what you should do. But really don't have the balls to kind of do it themselves and put themselves in that scenario and situation.
Yep.
So I've always taken it with a grain of salt. If it's somebody close to me, I do feel some kind of way, just a little bit, I do. Because it's like you're one of those few people that I allow in my circle that's close enough to me. But you have to realize sometimes you have to keep certain things quiet. You have to categorize certain people in your life for certain things.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the thing is that you're doing or dealing with that they're looking at in a different light. And it may not be really hating on you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's something in them. And so that's why you have to be careful about who you tell what to and categorize those people that are in your life. So when things like that does happen, you already know what their response is going to be. And you already put yourself in a place where you don't even have to hear it.
Right.
Coming from somebody who moved to Georgia 11 years ago from California with two small children, everybody has something to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept my why close. I kept my mission and my reason close so that when I told them I was leaving, everybody was, either they were betting on the return, the fall, the everything. And here I am 11 years later. So, you just got to know your why and stick to that. Sometimes when you fail and people around you, it's different. Sometimes those same people wanted you to be where they are. So they put you in a place where they make you feel like it's okay.
Yeah.
But the only reason why it's okay is because they're in that same position too. And that's why they tell you it's so important to be around people that not only are willing to learn more than you, know more than you, you got to be in a position to say, okay, well, I'm always willing to learn more and be around people that know more, and you want to be in their position. You want to be where they are. So when things happen, they know how to pull you up to that spot. Nah, girl, we're going to, brush that off. We still got work to do. Okay, this didn't happen. This didn't work, whatever the case may be. All right, let's brush that off and let's keep going. This is how we're going to do it next time, kind of thing. Those are the people that you want in your corner. And you may not have a bunch of them. It may be one.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I tell my kids all the time, because this is the biggest thing that I learned. Not everybody is your friend.
There we go.
We grew up with coming home and telling our parents, oh, my friend. No requirements, no expectations. I didn't have to know anything about you, your personality, or your character. You were my friend. And so we grew up saying, oh yeah, my friend does X, Y, and Z. All the while, this is a person I met on Facebook 3 years ago. We've never sat down. We've never had coffee, tea. I've never been in your house. None of that stuff. True. But now I'm affected by what you're telling me, because we done passed around a couple Facebook messages and I called you my friend, and now I feel some kind of way.
She is speaking. Okay. We had a conversation outside of this episode where she said something. Miss Z said, I'm talking about her like she's not here. Me and Z were talking, okay, y'all, and she said something to me that was the biggest deal. It was along the lines of what she's telling you guys, is that you really have to have qualifiers. And the comparison or the analogy that she used was in dating. Like, everybody has requirements for who they're gonna date, and he has to make this amount of money, and he has to have a big ding dong. Like, everybody has these stipulations for what they want from their life. But I have not. Like, and I don't know. Y'all can comment below and tell me, talk shit to me if you have experienced it. I want to create an open forum for that. But I have yet to experience somebody sitting down and saying, like, what is my friend application looking like? Like, screw the boyfriend applications, everybody. Right. What are my true requirements for friendships, and how am I protecting my energy? Like, oftentimes you feel, I know for me, being somebody who enjoys solitude, like, that in itself is difficult because people are not used to that. So we take to other people with ease, and we want to be besties with everybody. But again, that gets you in trouble, because not everybody that's your acquaintance, boo. Like, you just met them. That's your acquaintance.
Right.
And even I have been guilty of that until I realized that, hey, you have something so special. Not everybody can build a movement, a podcast. I don't care if you have a poppin' Instagram account. It don't matter what you do here, but not everybody can get people to hear them, to see them, to understand them for who they are. And you can't just give all of that away to everybody because they put on you know what I'm saying? Like, I think for the most part, we want to believe that everybody is going to have our best interest at heart, and that we're going to receive some sort of reciprocation, but we end up breaking our own hearts when sometimes we don't get that.
Exactly.
But my girl Z's not going to let y'all get away with shit. She wants to know where the accountability is at. Y'all need to go look under your bed and find it. Look for it now.
Not look under your bed.
Listen, it's hiding under there. Some people, they like
listen. And it's really just looking at ourselves,
Yeah.
What is it about me that allows just random people to take my energy and just do whatever they please with it? Yeah. what is it about me that I attract so many people? However, I think everybody's my friend and they have my best interest at heart. So, we got to take accountability with us first.
Right.
Because that word friend is so powerful and we're giving it out for free.
Yep. In what ways have you personally practiced this in your life, though? Like, let me.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So, um, for me, I'm a people hoarder. I've said this a few times. I'm a people hoarder. If you've been there for me and, you've got me out of a situation, you've been there, I'm loyal to a fault, so it doesn't even, and it takes a lot for me to get offended. But within the journey of me doing and transitioning, I had to realize not everybody can come.
Yeah.
And I had to put my big girl panties on and my glasses and say, yeah, this doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like for the next phase of my life. And you necessarily don't even have to do anything wrong to me for me to know and say, okay, the ship is sailed. Because, people say a season, a reason, for everybody to be in your life. And I just wasn't that person. I'm like, we 10 toes down, we've been hanging from day one. We got 20 years in it. And then, 20 years and 5 days later, it's like, whoa, we done maxed out our time because neither one of us was big enough to say, okay, time's up.
Not and the so 20 years and 5 days.
Yeah. It's like, and then it's hurtful. Don't get me wrong. It's hurtful. You remember, but you have to take what you took, the positive, and, implement that in your life as you see fit and move on. Sometimes it's not them necessarily doing anything wrong to you for the reason of your exit.
Yeah.
Maybe you miscategorized that they were supposed to be in your life, for forever. Maybe they were supposed to be there for just a simple lesson to get you to the next stage.
Right.
I admit I was one of those people. I didn't want to hear that. I don't know what kind of lesson you thought you were going to come in. But me and you are connected forever. Even in relationships, I've had the same thing where, this person was supposed to be there only to show me how to love myself or show me how to love the person and see the person that was supposed to come into my life. Like, it's so many factors that I've learned along the way that I had to really open my eyes and sit quiet.
Right.
And sit and have a conversation with God and ask and say, you know what? Open my eyes. If this person, and this is the one thing that I said, and I never knew how it was going to affect me, but I said, if this person is not meant to go, remove them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, it could be all kinds of stuff that transpired. And it was just like, okay, I'm going to give you what you asked for. And to be honest with you, I had to do the same thing. If I'm not good for you and not allowing you to grow in your next phase, I had to eject myself.
Right.
No beat, no nothing. I had to say, you know what? I have to let you go because I want you to do better and I'm holding you back.
Yeah. And that comes with a level of discernment needed as well. I mean, I'm a year older. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday to all the Pisces.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. No, but I have reached that stage in my life as well where I can almost smell when it just ain't gonna work.
Right.
If there are different priorities or if there are different interests, whatever the case may be,
right,
you just gotta get your grown woman on and get with some folks who match your vibration, the energy, the type of frequency that you're on. And I think that's such a blessing because some of us never get there.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, lesson after lesson after lesson, you hear this person. I'm pretty sure everybody's had a friend. They call you 5 times a day and they tell you about the same thing over and over again. But we're solution-based people here.
Right.
How are they fixing this? How are they working on this, etc.? Like, you need to be able to tell if people are fitting for your future. And I love that she said that. I love that you said that, Z.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at me trying to give a sermon to the audience. My God. What's up, y'all? It's your host, Sierra Renee. I want to thank you guys for tuning into episode 7, part 2. Because the footage was extremely long, I had to break it up into another part. So make sure you guys tap in with episode 7, part 3. Peace.